Hi, this is Kathy Vick Deeply Awake, and I really am excited about prefacing this channel tonight. I do want to mention something. Things have gotten better. I feel just like everything is kind of coming online, and that's really wonderful. But I still want you to know that there are times when things get kind of rough. There's a crayon tape called Don't Despair, and it was done, I don't know if it was in 14 or 15, but boy, there were some dark moments that I really needed that one. And so I think that it's really folly to think that, enlightenment or getting your shit together, or whatever you want to call it, is all sweetness and light. I think that's just really, it does a number on a person's psyche, because sometimes you feel like crap. And last night I was feeling like crap. It's like I went to dinner and I realized, I really don't like how I'm living. I mean, it hit me all at once. And I realized it's just kind of unsustainable, and it's at the end of the road. And now what do I do? Now what do I do? And I know I was just really freaked out. And so I channeled a little bit, and I didn't publish it, of course, but it was helpful. And this morning, wow, it was tough. First thing, it wasn't, oh, God is love and love is real and la 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 and unicorns, whatever. It wasn't like that. No, it was, holy crap. The drop-down menu of what I need to do to make a buck, to spin some cash, is frickin' dire. This is not good. I think I need to put on a uniform and go back to work. And just ignore don't mind me, I'm dying inside, but I'm here to do, your IV. I was really thinking about it. Knowing that it wouldn't be on purpose, and it wouldn't, but it's a skill. And it's a way to make some money, right? We all do that. And so it was tricky. And this morning I had an appointment first thing, so I went and did my thing, and it was beautifying, and I had a bagel. And then I decided I need to go to a bookshop. The one that I, gone there 3 times, and I haven't met the manager, but I'm going to go again. Sure enough, she wasn't there. She was there. She was there. And she took my card. I haven't heard from her yet, but and maybe I will, maybe I won't, doesn't matter. She was there. And I don't know, I got a flash of that poster, that Muhammad Ali, where he's just knocked out. I think it's Fraser, I don't know for sure. But the big one, where everybody was basically telling Ali that, there was a lot going on at the time, okay? A lot. And Ali showed them all. He damn well said, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. And then he proved it. And it was just, the whole world was just, oh yeah, oh yeah. And our little tribe, my little family, totally not okay with people who were racist. So it's so cool. And so Muhammad Ali was sort of a big deal for us growing up. At least it was for me. I mean, I know my mom and dad really dug him. And that one poster where he's dripping sweat and blood, and in big block letters, the sentence that always gets me is, impossible is a dare. And truth is that growing up, I grew up understanding there's no excuses here. If you're unhappy, then figure it out. If you're unhappy, figure it out. If you don't like your life, well then, who's in charge of that one? So you better fix it. That's kind of, and it wasn't it wasn't followed by the word dumbass, okay? It was just how it is. There's no excuse. Just if you're not applying yourself, you're going to fail, and probably, unless you're lucky. And but what's the point? Because you didn't apply yourself. And if you don't like something, or if something isn't working right, well then fix it. and there he is saying impossible is a dare. And I just felt that. Driving to the bookstore, I was like, you know what? Who says I have to do things to make a living that I find unacceptable or demeaning or debasing or possibly dangerous? Who says? And it's up to me to decide what those things are. But I can assure you, there are many things on my plate. And none of it's that great. And I'm driving there thinking, who said that I have to settle for this? This is my life. I get to decide, and I don't want to do any of those things. So I drove to the bookstore, and I met that lady. And I was like, yes, impossible's a dare. Yes. And then I was driving over to my friend's. And I got a text from a manager of a bookstore that I just absolutely adore. And I get to get vetted on Monday. And then I went to my friends, and I've got a space to do my work. And whether it's, permanent or temporary or whatever, it's just freaking awesome. But the thing is, the space is better than I had imagined. And I will tell you, for me, right now, that space is perfect plus. It's just in every way, in every single way, it's perfect. And then I got a gig, a really, really big gig. Because I asked. 2 really big gigs. Because I asked, hey, could you use me? Who says it has to be awful? So all I'm saying is that I feel better about what the work I'm doing here. And part of it is because I now have knowledge of so many people whose stories are actually very similar to mine. They may have had a big shift in their reality 6 years ago, or 2 years ago, or 1 year ago, or 5 years ago. It doesn't really matter. But each of them have gone through, I don't know, something of a coming home, and just really being here, and really coming from a really authentic place. And this is in my physical reality. I already have a lot of Facebook friends and readers who are experiencing the same thing. So I know I'm just a blabbermouth. But that's why I want to say, hey, it's not all cake. That's why I posted on my Facebook about, it's owning your dark. It's being able to be really honest about the kink and the stuff that, the stuff that is, your shadow. Just being okay with it. And, some run from their stuff and others don't. It don't matter. It's not for me to say. But I know that all of them went through shifts, and they are just not the same people they were. I've seen pictures. It's uncanny. You just have to look at a picture from me in 2007, 2008, up to 2011, and you'll know there's been a big change. Now, because I'm of this ascension thing, I understand this to be part of the ascension process. And you can be conscious of it or not. I mean, not everybody needs to walk around, having deep thoughts about quantum mechanics while they're getting their Starbucks. It's just not really all that necessary. That it might be happening, awesome, because it's about remembering. And I know I've spoken for 10 minutes, and I'm really okay with that. Because I know that my life is a bit of a channeled event, all on its own. And I take one look at my friends, and I know that theirs is too. It's just, it's not any other way. Because it's the observer that's with us, who loves us. And what they say, it's the spark in the heart that created the heart pump, but is the creative spark, and it's multidimensional and all that stuff. So I wanted them to come through and talk about what their thoughts are on this, I don't know, this favorite phrase of mine, impossible as a dare. Because I want to just say, to wrap up for me, that there's a bit of existential depression to all of this. I think that if you are paying attention, there's this thing on NPR, women are so much more affected by, major depressive disorder than men. Call in and let's talk about why, brainiacs. And I think I don't know if I made the phone cut, but I went home and told my husband at the time, hey, I was going to call in. Maybe is what I said. I don't know. I don't think I got to talk to him. But there's a reason. It's because women pay attention. And our hearts get hurt. And you get depressed after a while. You just do. When your heart is open and you're surrounded by people whose hearts are closed, yeah, you get to feeling shitty after a while. And, depression, let's remember, is the unholy trinity. Powerlessness, hopelessness, helplessness. But existential depression, well, that's a deeper shade of oh dear. Because that's just freaking soul fatigue. That's like being disappointed on a whole other level. And I've talked about it in feelers. I'm not going to go into all of that. But I do think that the work that we did to clear the collective of these strong emotions has helped. It's very much harder to dip and stay. So I was really, really despairing, and it felt a lot like the old existential depression of just take me the frick out of here. I've messed up my life. I can't get it to work. I can't get anything to go. And I am just so done with this. Everywhere I look, people are turning away, or they're just not cooperating, or they're just not getting it. And I'm tired. I'm lonely. And I just F it. Just fuck it. And then the despair hit. Well, you know what? Things change. And it's okay to feel down. And it's okay to have soul fatigue. Just don't act on it. And understand if you're having it, it's because you're deep. It's part of the process. And it's really, really okay. You're going to get through it. So, I didn't think I was going to. Last night, I generally said, go to bed, Gally. God. I had to say it many times. But I did. And then today, just, yeah. But here's the thing. The first thing I did this morning, I broke my pattern. I got up and I went to my porch. And I stood on there and I heard the wires sizzling, and I looked out at all this green, and I felt the same way as I did in Carlsbad, California for that week. I felt charmed. It felt magical and soft. And I was really super glad to be here. And I was realizing I'm actually having those thoughts and these feelings for my reality. And that truly was the first day that I could feel it so strongly. And that's what stayed with me. And it's been with me all day. The admonition, fear not, it stayed with me too. So, impossible is a dare. Impossible is a dare. Impossible is a dare. What is impossible? Hmm? Impossible. Hmm? When do you hear that word impossible in your reality? We ask you. Oh, you shouldn't even consider that. It's impossible. Do you hear that often? No. Less now than before, perhaps, but... Well, to hear that, that's hearing a full stop. That's hearing someone else tell your reality no. Because they have limits. They have limits on their beliefs of what's possible. Impossible is a dare. Well, we would say that's kind of nice. It has a bit more kick and fight than it needs to, but if that's what gets your engine roaring, then so be it. Sure. If you see it as a fight, well then, you're gonna have a fight. It doesn't have to be that way. And it doesn't have to be a brawling event to have a disagreement on what is real and what is not. Impossible. Impossible. Well, this is a locked door, isn't it? Yes. And we would suggest that, well, if you yourself discover a locked door, well, it's your door. And it'll open in good time. But when someone else walks by the door and locks it for you, well then, you have veto power in your own reality. Is impossible a dare? Is impossible a door that someone else locks for you? If someone else does it, well, it wasn't that door. If you want to believe it's locked, so be it. But it's not their door to lock for you. So, impossible is a dare, we would say, but it's a dare to believe in self. It's tough when you feel as if the rest of the world doesn't care, or worse, holds your passions in disdain. We have an important point to make about professions, okay? And pursuits. When in social contact, it's often asked, say, what do you do? Some people might even say, hey, what are you? But we would hope not. What do you do for a living? That's a good way to ask. Notice that often what is returned are I am statements. Ask them what their passion is, what their hobby is, the thing that they choose to do in their spare time. And they will often not use I am statements, but instead statements of descriptors, verbs. I enjoy embroidery. I blog from time to time. I like to take walks in nature. We would suggest that if your profession, the way in which you earn dollars or francs or whatever, is something that you love and identify a part of your being with, oh good, say I am. That's nice. But be mindful, because it's a role that you are taking as part of your identity. and that's optional. It's not a locked door, but it limits a person. It says a lot, those words, I am. The idea here is that change appears to be an external thing. Often people have goals. Think of the child who, just by nature, has a personality which would be perfect for the endeavor of architect. Now, when this fine fellow gets into school and is a freshman, is he considered an architect? Does he say, I am an architect? No, he identifies as a student. As the years pass, the training deepens, and the identity is more set. Then, upon graduation, he may very well say, I am an architect, which is fine. It's good. It's very, very descriptive. It is a goal, is it not, for that young man, the freshman, to one day walk across the stage, his tassels swinging, and he shakes a luminary's hand and then receives a symbol of his hard work. And the access he now has earned through a system for a far greater reality than he could comprehend as a child, as a freshman, or even on his last night as a senior. We would say, in this enlightenment process, in the ascension process, or however you want to say it, the evolution process, you'll find a word for it as a group that, as we've said, doesn't give you the willies. But until then, during this process, well, we've made it abundantly clear, no one can confer this reality. It must be organically understood and owned. And so there is no handshake, there is no true symbol, except that which is organically realized. What a blessing to find others who have had similar experiences. They can stand as classmates, graduates, counselors, assistants, helpers, guides. There are those far along in the process who are so peaceful, so content with the reality. This one knows of many whose lives are very balanced to begin with, and very soul-centered, and yet even they are experiencing blossoming, new connections, new creations within their reality. Can you not see the beauty of that? When perhaps your profession is perfectly in alignment with who you are, imagine every part of your reality ringing with I am and feeling peace. This is the trouble that this one felt and has spoken of having a deep argument, of feeling truly smaller than her desires, and not really knowing what she wanted, not having articulated it, not having owned up to it, and wondering if she has the courage to do what she really wants to do. It's not as if there's anyone who's out there telling her not to anymore. But the question is, can she stand in her truth? I would say the answer is yes. This is an evolution. And change, well, it's incremental, it's gradual. However, there are some changes that are bigger than others. Some are situational, and perhaps they're not even desired, called upon. And yet, there they are. And something must be done. We can tell you, pardon, do that which lights you up. But that seems flimsy when you're trying to make life choice decisions. The things that will affect the happiness and joy and comfort of your children, your loved ones, and the part of you which perhaps maybe ma restless, wanting expression, needing expression. Sooner or later, this part becomes more and more prominent. Perhaps the architect, through schooling, became like this, more and more sure. Well, good. That makes for a lively graduation party, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Because there is some fight to it all. I will overcome. I will do this. Well, good. Good. Have the spark. Have that light. Is impossible a dare? Is impossible a dare? Well, we would say it kind of depends on how the door is locked. How someone else plops along and says, oh, I see, this door is something you're looking at. But here, it's locked. Now, what's often behind that is, if I can't go there, you can't. But in any case, it's inappropriate behavior. Being discouraging. Being critical. It's rather immature. And unpleasant to be around, actually. Steeped in insecurity and fear. Not at all loving. And simple choices. Oh, perhaps they always talk like that. Oh, isn't that nice? Well, isn't that nice? How close are you with they? Whew, that's a lot to have to shovel every day. So, what is impossible to you, for you? This is a loaded question, because consider reality a blank check. Blank check. You may have anything you wish. What is it that you consider impossible? What is it that you know others around you, either in your circle, in your family, in your circle of friends, in your profession, if they consider it impossible? Well, maybe you already know. Maybe you haven't breathed a word, because they'd sneak in and lock that door and probably put you down for considering it. This one certainly had that. Oh, in spades. In. Oh, Ah, the resistance. Ah, the locking doors. And yet, oh, like a rocket this morning. Who says I have to do any of that? No. I'll do what I want to do. I know what to do now. Well, there you go. Go get him, Kelly. So, follow your dreams. Well, that's very good advice. Oftentimes, dreams are dreams because you yourself and or those around you have said, that's impossible. What makes a dream? But that it's a desire which is unattainable. If you have something in your reality that you know is impossible, there's gold there. There's gold there. Why would it be in your consciousness? And why would it be glittering with impossibility? Interesting. Well worth looking at. We would say you don't have to do tons and tons and tons of processing anymore, but, oh, dear ones, by not even looking, by simply accepting another person's limitations as your own, see how you limit self. There are those who refuse to listen to limits, and those who can do nothing but obey another's wishes, which may be highly limiting and totally inappropriate. But it depends on the agreements, doesn't it? There is a place where there are no critics. A place of pure creativity. When you can look around and say, isn't there a rule against this? And there's no one around. It's then we suggest you do a little jig, giggle a little bit, and realize, oh baby, you're in brand new territory. Welcome home. Don't despair. Feel your feelings, but don't believe them as being something that must be etched in stone and carried around as commandments. The feelings. We tried to tell her that last night. Didn't go over well. Thank God for sleep. Because the rumination and the sadness would have just gone on. The whole body, all the chemistry. Depressed, sad, fearful, convinced she was going to do something wrong. And so we leave you like this. In the morning, what helped her the very most was certainly feeling that thrilling feeling of softness and being so well loved. Ooh, it was lovely. And here in Colorado, what? It was good. But the other, and something we wish to leave you with, is this. It became so clear, hard to admit, but clear. So much of her paralysis has been due to the fear of doing it wrong. For herself, not necessarily for others. The critics now quiet, the only critics around, those which she attends to in her mind. No critics, only supporters. Critics don't matter. You can't do it wrong. Further, we flooded her with the understanding she has made no mistake. And it's not possible to make a mistake. There is no such thing. Given that, why not go enjoy the day? I kept telling her. It worked out pretty good. So, we say long time coming. Okay? Long time coming. Don't be jealous. And please don't throw shade. Is it necessary? We don't think so. No. It's one person's expression, and oh my golly, it's a happy one today. And one which is in so much better alignment with the core, with the soul, when with desired expression. Such relief, such relief. We leave you in great goodwill, in peace, in harmony, in recognition of your hard work, your beautiful soul, your warm heart. Remember, dropping judgments about self